Welcome to Whisperer of Madness. If you're enjoying the story, consider liking the video and subscribing. It really helps grow the channel and this community. The current dragon turtle fire spirit had been swept into a massive whirlpool, unable to extricate itself. If it hadn't been for Ning Xiaohui, I would never have revealed this vital information to Ning Zhuo. The dragon turtle fire spirit was quite reluctant. As it sighed, its expression suddenly changed dramatically, showing a look of fear. Mortal threat of life. Ning Zhuo is in a critical situation, urgently needing key intelligence. He couldn't get it from Ning Jiufan, but he got it from me. The reason I must help him is because of Ning Xiaohui. Even though Ning Xiaohui hates Ning Zhuo, she too had been implanted with the mortal threat of life. Her fate could also be used by Ning Zhuo. The dragon turtle fire spirit was naturally quite familiar with the life-hanging divine ability. Realizing the hidden struggle of fate, mysterious changes and influences, it unconsciously retracted its head into its shell. The life-hanging divine ability in its complete form had already begun to take effect, but few people could detect it. Even the dragon turtle fire spirit could only glimpse a corner of the influence and changes in fate. Ning Zhu fell into silence. He understood the implication of the dragon turtle fire spirit. The dragon turtle fire spirit, being the palace spirit, was incapable of taking action against trial disciples, but he could. The reason the dragon turtle fire spirit notified him was because it knew Ning Zhu could stop Ning Xiaohui. The reason was simple. The mortal threat of life. Ning Xiaohui had long been implanted with the mortal threat of life by Ning Zhuo. Once this divine ability was activated, it might lead to Ning Xiaohui's death. But all this needs careful planning. Directly using the divine ability would inevitably provoke an investigation by Ning Jiufan. Ning Xiaohui was a genius, possessing the ice jade hands, and was the face of the main lineage in the qi refinement stage. If she died, the entire Ning family would be shaken. The investigation by the Ning family and Ning Jiufan was not the real threat. The true danger was Zhuge Xuanji. Given the current alliance between Zhuge Xuanji and the three families, he would almost certainly participate in the subsequent investigation. Moreover, I still haven't had time to ask the fire spirit about the foundation establishment method, Ning Zhu sighed. In his two urgent exchanges with the dragon turtle fire spirit, he hadn't had the opportunity to inquire about the foundation establishment method to confirm his previous speculations. Ning Zhu licked his dry lips, stopped thinking about it, and immediately entered the Immortal palace with his soul. He needed to contact Sun Lingtong immediately. Although there were other ways to contact him, for now, those methods could no longer be used. Zhuge Xuanji asked me a few questions and then left. He came and went with great fanfare, giving me 3 days to explain. It was all thunder and no rain. This was very unlike his usual Loki style while investigating cases. So, it's very likely that he planted some kind of monitoring device on me or in this room. Using conventional methods to contact Sun Lingtong would be self-exposure. Now my only hope is that Sun Lingtong is also in the Magma Immortal Palace. Since Ning Zhu had brought Sun Lingtong into the trial checkpoint, he had subsequently obtained the identity of a trial disciple. This meant he could freely enter and exit the Magma Immortal Palace. When the puppet Ning Zhu appeared in the first room, the puppet Sun Lingtong hiding in the corner immediately came over. "What exactly happened? Why did Zhuge Xuanji look for you?" Sun Lingtong asked urgently. Although he was in the underground base, he always kept an eye on the external situation. This major event had caused a huge uproar in the entire city, and Sun Lingtong quickly learned about it. He immediately realized that using the old methods to contact Ning Zhu was too dangerous. So, he immediately set off, first entering the Magma Immortal Palace to wait. He believed that if Ning Zhu wanted to contact him, he would definitely use this method. Sure enough, he waited for Ning Zhu. Ning Zhu also contacted Sun Lingtong. This was the tacit understanding formed by the two brothers over the past 10 years. "This is not the place to talk," Ning Zhu said, leading Sun Lingtong deep into the Magma Immortal Palace. They first arranged for the Golden Blood Battle Ape Dasheng in the previous checkpoint, and after ensuring no one else was in the room, Ning Zhu succinctly disclosed the details. Sun Lingtong's reaction was as Ning Zhu expected. "Since Zhuge Xuanji is investigating you and has given you 3 days, it's better to take this opportunity and run away directly. If you are found out, you will face severe punishment under the laws of Southern Bean Country. The Ning family definitely won't protect you. Only the Bukong sect will be relatively safe. The dragon turtle fire spirit, who had been eavesdropping, couldn't help but feel anxious upon hearing Sun Lingtong's suggestion. If Ning Zhu ran away, what would happen to it? At this moment, the dragon turtle fire spirit did not dare to speak out directly, only circling anxiously in the main hall. It prayed silently, hoping Ning Zhu would do the right thing, escaping only after dealing with Ning Xiaohui. Ning Zhu declined Sun Lingtong's suggestion. Elder son, you know I won't give up easily. The magma Immortal palace is of great significance to me, and it isn't the time of absolute desperation yet. I've already thought of some countermeasures. Sun Lingtong sighed. When he tried to persuade Ning Zhuo, he had already anticipated this response. All right, tell me your plan and what I can do to help. Ning Zhuo told him to go to the secret base and assemble the golden core-level mechanical monkey. By now, the manufacturing project dispatched outside by Ning Zhuo had been completed. With the skeleton and armor already ready, Ning Zhuo would fill in the components he obtained from the magma Immortal palace, assembling them to create a golden core-level mechanical monkey. Currently, we urgently need golden core-level combat power to prevent any unforeseen events. Sun Lingtong nodded. I'll help you with the assembly. The skeleton and armor were stored in the underground secret base. Transferring the mechanical components from Ning Zhuo's body posed some trouble. However, based on their decade-long cooperation, coupled with black market smuggling and other rich experiences, it was only a hassle, not an impossible task. Additionally, Elder Son, I need you to pose as Yang Chanyu and then as the Black Shadow Demon Cultivator. Sun Lingtong nodded. I'm quite familiar with Yang Chanyu, no problem. But I've never seen the Black Shadow Demon Cultivator. Ning Zhu responded. I've seen him personally. Since the Fire Persimmon Mountain incident, I had a premonition that I might need to use this identity to disguise myself for convenience. So I prepared some clothes in advance, hiding them in the underground secret base number C. Ning Zhuo then told Sun Lingtong the specific hiding place of these clothes. Sun Lingtong memorized it and couldn't help but pat Ning Zhuo's shoulder. It's your style to be well prepared, great, great. Ning Zhuo continued. The true scripture has already been refined, becoming part of the golden blood battle ape. But there must be a true scripture. Elder Son, can you forge a true scripture? To build trust, we can even incorporate the 9-layered Qi refinements demon-infused bloodline technique. Sun Lingtong pondered a bit. I will do my best to forge the true scripture, but I cannot guarantee the actual effect. After all, the people we aim to deceive are golden core level, especially cunning individuals like Zhu Xuanji, who possess the golden eyes. Ning Zhu nodded and sighed. I understand. Given the current situation, we can only do our best and leave the rest to fate. If something happens to me, Elder Son, please take the golden core-level mechanical monkey and escape immediately. I expect I'll be detained by Zhu Xuanji and taken to be tried in the southern Bean country capital as a prisoner. If you remain free, you might be able to find a chance to rescue me. If possible, take both the golden blood battle ape Dasheng and the netherworld envoy Qi Bai with you. I have some treasure locations, you know the exact addresses. Oh, and I have a treasure seal. Ning Zhu was about to reveal the existence of the Buddha Heart Demon Seal to Sun Lingtong when the latter raised a hand to stop him from saying more. Sun Lingtong looked a bit angry. Enough. Little Zhu, we will succeed this time. At this moment, Sun Lingtong showed strong confidence and an even more determined fighting spirit than Ning Zhu. In the past 10 years, there's never been a challenge we couldn't overcome together. So, we will also get through this tough situation. Ning Zhu was momentarily stunned, then laughed loudly 3 times, patting Sun Lingtong's shoulder resolutely. Elder Son, you are absolutely right. Ning Zhu and Sun Lingtong parted ways, both fully focused on exploring the path of the demon sect. Sun Lingtong left him and returned to his body. Little Zhuo! When alone, Sun Lingtong's face showed worry. He knew those last words from Ning Zhuo were just an excuse to trick him into escaping alone. It indicated that Ning Zhuo had no confidence in overcoming this challenge. Sun Lingtong could fully understand. If it were him, he would have even less confidence than Ning Zhuo. This time, the situation was extremely perilous. Little Zhuo not only has to face Zhu Xuanji's investigation, but also the life-or-death dilemma of Ning Xiaohui. His solution is quite risky, and the forged true scripture is the most crucial tool. Can I really succeed? With this thought, Sun Lingtong grew even less confident. After all, he was only at the foundation establishment stage, facing someone like Zhu Xuanji in such a manner for the first time. There is someone more capable than me. Perhaps I should seek her help. At that moment, Sun Lingtong thought of Yang Chanyu. Yang Chanyu's cultivation was higher than his, being a true disciple of the Bukong sect at the Golden Core level. Yang Chanyu cultivated the old cicada technique, which was highly proficient in disguise. Once the thought emerged, Sun Lingtong could no longer suppress it. He took a deep breath and quickly decided to secretly seek Yang Chanyu's assistance. He left the underground secret base quietly, looked up at the sky and sun, thinking that he had been cooped up in the underground base for so long. This time he finally saw the daylight. Walking stealthily through the alleys, following barely detectable secret marks, he soon found Yang Chanyu. Ever since Yang Chanyu had dual cultivated with Ningzhuo, she had been hiding in a corner of Fire Persimmon Immortal City, moving locations every so often. Not only did she not leave, but she also entered the Magma Fairy Palace more frequently, crazily earning contributions, becoming one of the strong competitors right behind Zhu Xuanji. When the Dragon Turtle Fire Spirit introduced the enemy situation to Ningzhuo, it also included Yang Chanyu. Sun Lingtong's proactive appearance took Yang Chanyu by surprise. "You actually came to find me personally, hee. There must be something urgent where you need my help." Sun Lingtong chuckled. "I came this time to propose a collaboration, a big money-making opportunity. Are you interested?" Yang Chanyu was of course interested and immediately inquired further. However, Sun Lingtong could not fully disclose the entire plan, only revealing a part of it. This made Yang Chanyu feel very dissatisfied and wary. "Sun Lingtong, what are you up to? I need to know the full plan or I won't easily get involved. I'm not someone who can be easily deceived. Without knowing the entire plan, are you planning to use me as a pawn?" Sun Lingtong chuckled, sweet-talking, trying his best to persuade her. But Yang Chanyu just sneered, showing no signs of being moved. Forced into a corner, Sun Lingtong had no choice but to back down. "All right then, we can sign an oath." "Since you're not reassured, we can settle an agreement, can't we?" Yang Chanyu still shook her head. "Our Bukong sect is best at making false oaths or finding loopholes in them. You saying this just shows even more lack of sincerity. You want sincerity." Sun Lingtong bit his lip, eyes firm. "All right, I'll promise you. After the matter in the Magma Fairy Palace is settled, I'll go back to the Bukong sect with you." These words immediately made Yang Chanyu's expression change subtly. Yang Chanyu seriously scrutinized Sun Lingtong. "What kind of major event is this? What benefits are involved for you to make such a promise to me? Sun Lingtong, you should know, saying these words means what?" Sun Lingtong's small face was full of stern seriousness. He bit his lip, then relaxed, spreading his hands, chuckling. "Going back together to see your master means I might very well die." His eyes became even more determined. "But I seek fortune and glory through peril. This time I am risking death to gamble big. So I am betting this time. You wanted sincerity, this is my sincerity. We both have marriage contracts. My promise is linked to marriage, you should be at ease now." Yang Chanyu was silent for a moment, then nodded. "Of course, I am reassured by this. All right, tell me the specifics of the action." The puppet Ningzhuo exerted force with both hands, pushing open the third demon gate. The third gate's challenge was peculiar. Cultivators within it operated the demon-infused bloodline technique, and the challenge rewarded matching quality blood path diagram plates based on their performance. Ningzhuo, at the peak of the 9th level of demonic cultivation, though a puppet body, had accumulated considerable blood energy from earlier challenges. At this moment, he chose a blank, smooth blood path diagram plate, directly infusing all his blood energy into it. Don't be fooled by the small size of the blood path diagram plate. Its capacity to hold blood energy was exceptionally high. Ningzhuo's blood energy, all infused into the blood path diagram plate, was far from reaching its limit. He followed the complete cultivation technique of the demon-infused bloodline technique, layer by layer urging it. Each time Ningzhuo completed a layer, the operation root of the demon-infused bloodline technique engraved on the blood path diagram plate, showing a layer of blood path patterns similar to array patterns. When he pushed the demon-infused bloodline technique to the 8th layer stage, his blood energy was depleted. The blood path diagram plate he obtained had densely packed blood path patterns on its surface, layer upon layer, like an array placed using overlapping arrays technique. Ningzhuo sighed inwardly. My mastery of the demon-infused bloodline technique still needs improvement. It's far from being as reflexive as the 5 elements generating technique. The blood path diagram plate I made is hardly of excellent standard. On the other hand, the total amount of blood energy I possess is also a crucial factor. It was obvious, if there was more ample blood energy, even if Ningzhu was not so skilled in the demon-infused bloodline technique, he could ultimately engrave the blood path diagram plate to the 9th layer of the demonic cultivation. How can I obtain more blood energy? Ningzhu quickly reviewed the previous challenges and rooms. Every demonic puppet with blood energy on their bodies, I can take their blood energy for my use. Indeed, some puppets were wasted by me. Besides that, in the prepping room, blood energy could also be purchased with spirit stones. This part of the blood energy, Ningzhu previously used as material for making mechanical puppets. Now, he discovered another use for blood energy. Finally, there are the rewards on the 5-pillar stone rankings. Ningzhu remembered in the rankings, one reward in the refining energy list was blood energy, which was not an option in other lists. Merely obtaining this one plate with only an 8th layer of cultivation was unsatisfactory for Ningzhu. He glanced at the portal ahead, pondering for a moment, and directly turned back, reopening the door he arrived through. Another cheat tactic. He activated the Buddha Heart Demon Seal, returning to the 3rd transit hall. Now Ningzhu mastered the complete life-hanging divine ability. When he activated and linked to the Buddha Heart Demon Seal's power, the loss of the magical treasure's power during the transfer process on the life-hanging thread had reduced to 1/10 of the previous. Moreover, Ningzhu's cultivation had surged, with all 3 cultivation techniques reaching the 9th level's peak. This was far beyond his previous achievements. All of this allowed him to easily open and close the doors in the later stages of the Magma Fairy Palace trials, moving freely. Ningzhu returned to the preparation room, collecting a substantial amount of blood chi rewards from the leaderboard. Currently, the renovation teams of the 4 Directions powers in the volcanic Immortal city were diligently practicing the 5 elements chi regulation art from the 4th to the 6th layer, with almost no one venturing into the Immortal Palace. However, there were still many wooden puppets active in the trial stages of the Immortal Palace. By now, many ordinary cultivators had refined the 5 elements chi regulation art to the peak of the 3rd layer, qualifying them to enter the Immortal Palace with their souls. If these people discovered that Ningzhu was freely exiting the trials, it would definitely be inappropriate. Thus, before exiting any trial, Ningzhu always sent the Golden Blood Battle Ape Dasheng ahead. The Golden Blood Battle Ape Dasheng struck down any mechanical puppet he encountered along the way, clearing the path for Ningzhu and ensuring he was not discovered by others. Why did this mechanical monkey cause such havoc? This did not match the previous findings and patterns summarized by the 4 Directions powers renovation teams during their arduous explorations. But Ningzhu could not afford to worry about this now. He had to leave these people to their own speculations. The situation was extremely tense, leaving no room for him to attend to such minor details. After receiving a large amount of blood chi rewards from the leaderboard again, Ningzhu remained in the preparation room for a while, using the blood path diagram plate to make some slight modifications to his body, and to that of the Golden Blood Battle Ape Dasheng. Soon, he led the Golden Blood Battle Ape Dasheng back to the special trials of the demon sect. Just as Ningzhu was about to use the newly acquired abundant blood chi to create the blood path diagram plate, he had a sudden inspiration. "Dasheng, your turn," he called out. "At your command," Yuan Dasheng responded, stepping forward. Having received the abundant blood chi, he operated the demonic technique on Ningzhu's behalf, applying it to the blank blood path diagram plate. In an instant, almost all of Yuan Dasheng's blood chi was channeled into the plate. This was vastly different from when Ningzhu infused blood chi. So, controlling the demon-infused bloodline technique to a certain stage allows one to channel all their cultivation at once. Ningzhu's eyes shone as he watched and learned. Clearly, Yuan Dasheng's mastery of this cultivation technique was far deeper than his own. As a result, the speed at which the blood path diagram plate was being created was more than 10 times faster than Ningzhu's pace. 1st layer, 2nd layer, 3rd layer. The blood path diagrams of these techniques quickly emerged, layer by layer, covering the blood path diagram plate. Within just 20 breaths, the plate's creation reached the 6th layer of the demonic technique. Starting from the 7th layer, the creation's speed noticeably slowed down. The demon-infused bloodline technique from the 7th to the 9th layer focused on accumulating vast amounts of blood qi. Nevertheless, Yuan Dasheng's speed in crafting the blood path diagram plate was still far faster than Ning Zhu's when he crafted the first 6 layers. 7th layer, 8th layer, 9th layer. Even after Yuan Dasheng completed the 9th layer, there was still a large surplus of blood qi on the blood path diagram plate. Yuan Dasheng showed no intention of stopping and continued crafting. Soon, the blood path diagram plate began to inscribe blood path diagrams corresponding to the foundation establishment stage techniques. Early foundation establishment, mid-foundation establishment, all the way to late foundation establishment. At this point, the blood qi finally ran out, and Yuan Dasheng had to stop activating the technique. Ning Zhu was overjoyed, immediately taking the blood path diagram plate into his hands for close examination. He had only acquired the demon-infused bloodline technique up to the qi refinement realm. He knew nothing about the details of the techniques for the foundation establishment stage. But now, Yuan Dasheng had created this. From this, it also confirmed what the dragon turtle fire spirit had previously said. The true scripture of the demon-infused bloodline technique had already merged with Yuan Dasheng, becoming a part of his instinct. Yuan Dasheng, can you write out all the content of the demon-infused bloodline technique? Ning Zhu asked. Yuan Dasheng hesitated for a moment, then half-knelt and said, My lord, I am unable to fulfill your command. Upon careful inquiry, Ning Zhu discovered that Yuan Dasheng could only use the demon-infused bloodline technique, but did not truly understand it. He had been refined by the magma fairy palace, leaving no memories behind, only purifying his spiritual nature. The entire content of the true scripture of the demon-infused bloodline technique had become more of an instinct for him. Asking him to delve into it and express this instinct fully in words was beyond him. Even so, I might still be able to use this special trial to let Yuan Dasheng complete the full recording of the demon-infused bloodline technique. Ning Zhu immediately thought of an alternate strategy using the blood path diagram plate. However, this would require a vast amount of blood qi. Ning Zhu calculated the total amount of blood qi he could collect throughout the trial. He then summed up the blood qi consumed during his first and second attempts at crafting the blood path diagram plate and compared both results. He regrettably found that the total blood qi he could acquire was far short of what was needed for a golden core level technique. Forget it. Once I conquer the magma fairy palace, won't I be able to see all the content of the 3 superior sect techniques? For now, let's focus on clearing the path of the demon sect. This was incredibly important to him. According to his plan, it was crucial to overcoming the current crisis. First, let's install the blood path diagram plate. Ning Zhu, now a wooden puppet, sat down, opened a small door on his chest, and revealed the internal mechanisms of his body. To install the blood path diagram plate, he had already made modifications to himself in the preparation room. Holding the blood path diagram plate with one hand, he inserted it into the middle section of his spine. There, he had specially created a slot for it. With a click, the blood path diagram plate was successfully installed into the slot. The ends of the slot's base lifted and securely locked the plate in place. Without any blood qi, Ning Zhu could not activate the blood path diagram plate to verify if it was properly installed. Ning Zhu speculated. The next trial must reward blood qi. Otherwise, the blood path diagram plate would be useless. The 3 ancestral masters set up this special trial with a purpose. They would not do something pointless. Ning Zhu gently tugged at the blood path diagram plate, ensuring it was firmly joined with the slot and would not come loose during intense movements. He then closed the small door on his chest, patting it to make sure it was tightly shut. Next, he followed the same procedure, opening the chest of the golden blood battle ape Dasheng and inserting another blood path diagram plate. The mechanical structure of the golden blood battle ape was very compact. The temporary slot Ning Zhu added could not be placed at chest level. He had to make a compromise, positioning it in the abdomen where there was some space. Due to limited space, the slot mechanism he made for Yuan Dasheng was much simpler than his own. Installing the blood path diagram plate for Yuan Dasheng required more caution. Ningzhu gently held the sides of the blood path diagram plate, aligning it with the slot, and carefully pushed it in with simultaneous force from both hands. The locking method for Yuan Dasheng's slot was different from Ningzhu's. Ningzhu had to manually secure the locks on both sides. Once this step was completed, he followed the pipe from the slot's end, inspecting it all the way up to Yuan Dasheng's chest components. After ensuring the lines and connections were intact, Ningzhu finally closed Yuan Dasheng's chest. "Hey, Ningzhu, what are you doing? At a time like this, you're still exploring the Immortal Palace. Don't you know the difference between important and urgent matters?" The dragon turtle fire spirit had been watching Ningzhu's every move, anxiously pacing back and forth in the main hall. "Hurry up, you need to deal with Ning Xiaohui. Dragging it out, if you delay any longer, she'll discover our secret. I'm so impatient, it's driving me crazy." The dragon turtle fire spirit growled, flames indeed sprouting from its head. When it grew agitated or angry to a certain extent, parts of its body would emit flames. If the dragon turtle fire spirit were Ning Zhuo, it would have immediately used the life-hanging thread to take care of Ning Xiaohui. But for now, Ning Zhuo behaved as if nothing was wrong, leisurely exploring the magma fairy palace. This drove the dragon turtle fire spirit to the brink of madness. It wanted to grab Ning Zhuo by the ear and loudly question him. "Are you dragging it out because you want to die?" However, it ultimately did not dare to do that. In fact, it even lacked the courage to talk to Ning Zhuo again. It was quite worried that it might accidentally say too much and be exposed by Ning Zhuo. While the dragon turtle fire spirit was anxious and indecisive, Ning Zhuo had already reached out and touched the door to the next room. There were no rewards for passing through the door, nor any bonus blood chi. This was somewhat unexpected for Ning Zhuo. "No blood chi. How am I supposed to use the blood path diagram plate?" The next moment, he stepped forward with Yuan Dasheng, officially entering the second-to-last level of the demon sect pathway. Thousands of blood-red eyes glared at them. Ning Zhuo was shocked. He had never seen so many kung fu dolls. Hundreds of them stood scattered, all drawn by the noise at the doorway. This was an army of mechanical puppets. Each doll had blood-red eyes or was shrouded in a layer of blood chi, exuding a chi refinement aura from level 1 to 9. Ning Zhuo's eyes lit up. So the source of blood chi for this level is not the door but these dolls. At the sight of Ning Zhuo and the golden-blooded war ape Dasheng, the mechanical puppets launched into action, charging at them. Hundreds of puppets moved simultaneously, like a tidal wave, giving Ning Zhuo a strong sense of oppression. "My lord, please retreat. I will ensure your safety." Yuan Dasheng stepped forward, blocking Ning Zhuo like a city gate. His sturdy body, reinforced with materials from the Buddhist sect pathway, was far superior to before. The crucial point was, he had been meticulously repaired by Ning Xiaohui, appearing brand new, with bright red muscles and exposed golden bones, exceptionally imposing and reliable. The kung fu dolls that came close were all knocked away by Yuan Dasheng. Yuan Dasheng's martial arts were extraordinary. Using both fists and feet, he was unstoppable. Bang, bang, bang. Many kung fu dolls were struck flying, some flung far away, some directly falling apart, and some crashing into their comrades. However, the number of kung fu dolls was overwhelming. Yuan Dasheng had spiritual power but no blood chi. He was not in his optimal state. Concerned about Ning Zhuo's safety, facing the tide of enemies, he could only retreat slowly, step by step. Ning Zhuo saw this and immediately cast a spell. Flames, frost descended, rock slabs and rolling logs covered the puppets, but instead it triggered the blood chi defenses of the kung fu dolls. One by one, they became encased in blood muscle armor, significantly mitigating the spell's damage. "This is bad." Ning Zhuo's heart sank, realizing his actions had backfired, enhancing the puppet's strength. Yuan Dasheng had been using purely his martial prowess, defeating many puppets without allowing them to use their blood chi. This level might discourage the use of spells. Pure hand-to-hand combat seems to be the right approach. Ning Zhuo had many conjectures in his mind. But in terms of close combat, it was Ning Zhuo's weak spot. When he first reached the 3rd level, he had been thoroughly beaten by a kung fu doll. In the end, he had to rely on the embrace ice technique to extricate himself and pass smoothly. Ning Zhuo had always wanted to improve his combat skills, but unfortunately, he had been too busy to find the time. Ningzhu stopped using spells, and the demon blood puppets also ceased using blood qi. Yuan Dasheng was just one entity, and a large number of dolls surrounded them from all sides. Ningzhu had no choice but to engage in battle. His basic combat skills were solid. He could handle 2 or 3 dolls simultaneously. But now, he faced attacks from dozens of dolls from all directions. Ningzhu was forced to constantly move, relying on maneuver warfare to buy time. Seeing more and more demon blood puppets around him, the enemy ranks thickening, and the space for Ningzhu to break through and maneuver shrinking, Ningzhu's anxiety increased. Will this attempt to clear the level end in failure? Ningzhu sensed impending defeat, but he was also deeply puzzled. He had traversed the Buddhist sect pathway and completed it fully. Compared to the second level of the Buddhist sect, the difficulty here in the demon sect is far greater, by hundreds of times. This is clearly unreasonable. At this moment, a large group of mechanical puppets pounced on the golden-blooded war ape Dasheng. One by one, the puppets emitted blood qi, which formed blood tendons, reinforcing their bodies and increasing their strength. They piled onto Yuan Dasheng like a human pyramid, pinning him down. Then the blood muscle armor on their bodies fused together, forming an immense blood qi, which converged to seal Yuan Dasheng entirely, creating massive blood tendon shackles. "Crap!" Ningzhu muttered to himself, sensing danger, just as he was about to cast a spell to break free. At that moment, a sudden change occurred. The blood tendon shackles imposed on Yuan Dasheng lasted only a brief moment before transforming back into a stream of blood qi, which was then absorbed by an invisible force into Yuan Dasheng's body. To be precise, it was absorbed into the blood path diagram plate inside Yuan Dasheng's body. In an instant, Ningzhu understood. "I get it, this is the correct way to clear the trial. The blood path diagram plate is used this way." When the blood path diagram plate possessed blood qi, it allowed the mechanisms to perform the corresponding levels of the demon-infused bloodline technique. When the blood path diagram plate lacked blood qi, it could directly absorb any external demon-infused bloodline qi it encountered. These demon blood puppets, intending to imprison Yuan Dasheng, ended up delivering a grand gift instead. Yuan Dasheng had previously struggled with a lack of blood qi, but now, with this substantial gift, his battle power skyrocketed. He let out a low roar, his arms shook, and surging blood qi formed a blood-colored orb that rapidly expanded around him. The layers of mechanical puppets pressing down on him were all blasted away, colliding into each other before crashing to the ground. Many of the mechanical puppets couldn't withstand the intense blood qi shock and disintegrated midair. Yuan Dasheng roared, clenched his fists like 2 war hammers, and swung them like the wind. Charging forward, unstoppable, empowered by blood qi, no mechanical puppet could stand against him. A large number of demon blood puppets shattered and disintegrated under his blows. However, the good times did not last long. Yuan Dasheng's battle power gradually weakened. There were too many enemies. Yuan Dasheng's attacks were continuously consuming blood qi intensely. With insufficient blood qi, his battle power significantly decreased. Enemies were everywhere, coming incessantly, one after another. Ningzhu shouted a reminder for Yuan Dasheng to keep absorbing blood qi. Yuan Dasheng followed the command, reached out and grabbed ahead. He activated the blood path diagram plate, which exploded with powerful suction, causing the kung fu doll in his grasp to tremble. This way, a stream of blood qi was absorbed from the kung fu doll through its head, up his arm, and eventually into Yuan Dasheng's blood path diagram plate. The kung fu doll, without the support of blood qi, immediately became feeble and extremely weak. Bang! Yuan Dasheng applied force with both hands, directly crushing the kung fu doll's head. Much of his attack prowess was evident in his hands. Yuan Dasheng continued to grab and crush, absorbing the blood qi from the kung fu dolls, and then crushing each one. Although there were many demon blood puppets, they lacked spiritual wisdom and had no targeted countermeasure against Yuan Dasheng's actions. On the other hand, Yuan Dasheng had reached the spiritual wisdom phase. At this moment, he learned from the battle and began focusing on blood qi reserves. He preferred to take hits in order to absorb all the blood qi from the demon blood puppets into his blood path diagram plate. The more blood qi Yuan Dasheng absorbed, the stronger he became. The stronger he became, the more blood qi he could absorb. With this positive cycle, Yuan Dasheng steadied himself and gradually became unstoppable. Ning Zhuo, seeing this scene, felt gratified but also puzzled. Having found the right way to clear the trial, the second level of the demon sect path becomes very simple. The true difficulty is much less than that of the Buddhist sect path. Something doesn't add up. Ning Zhuo fell into deep thought. Soon, an idea flashed in his mind, and he thought of a possibility. He personally experimented in battle, actively selecting demon blood puppets as opponents, and through repeated trials, he gained an in-depth understanding of the mechanism of the trial. It turned out that the absorbing capability of the blood path diagram plate had a limit. Like the blood path diagram plate that Ning Zhuo possessed, it was inscribed with the 8 layers of the demon-infused bloodline technique, and could only absorb the demon-infused bloodline qi of up to the 8th layer of qi refinement. Anything higher, like the 9th layer of blood tendons, was out of reach. In fact, absorbing even the 8th layer blood tendons proved to be quite challenging. The trial designed by the 3 ancestral masters was intended to focus the cultivators on the application of the blood path diagram plate. During the early stage of the trial, cultivators should use mobile warfare to delay time, extend the battle, and choose puppets with lower cultivation levels to absorb their blood qi. In the mid-stage, using the absorbed blood qi to enhance one's battle power, all the while fighting and absorbing blood qi from combat. In the late stage, dealing with the tough opponents, through intense fighting, ultimately killing a path through the blood and passing the trial. Spells couldn't be used. Once used, they would trigger a large number of kung fu dolls to use blood tendons, greatly enhancing their battle power. This not only increased the pressure on trialing cultivators, but also drastically reduced the blood qi they could gain. So, the difficulty of this trial is related to the blood path diagram plate. A blood path diagram plate with 9 layers of demonic technique has the lowest difficulty. The lower the number of layers, the greater the difficulty. However, I have Yuan Dasheng. When refining him, I used the true scripture of the demon-infused bloodline technique. As a result, he refined a blood path diagram plate of the foundation establishment stage in the previous trial. This diagram plate in the second trial subjugates all demon blood puppets, making it the ultimate weapon. This was the main reason Ning Zhuo found the trial so undemanding. In one word, it was because he cheated again. The trial designed by the 3 ancestral masters was meant for cultivators in the qi refinement realm. Normal cultivators in the qi cultivation stage would only obtain a qi refinement realm-level demon-infused bloodline technique, and would not have the ability to craft a foundation establishment stage-level blood path diagram plate. The existence of Yuan Dasheng surpassed the design limits of the trial. With Yuan Dasheng's prowess, Ning Zhuo smoothly cleared the second level. Seeing that Ning Zhuo clearly intended to continue to the final level with Yuan Dasheng, the dragon turtle fire spirit felt extremely anxious. Oh dear, this cannot be done. You can't take the golden-blooded war ape Dasheng in there. It will easily get trapped and may never come back. The dragon turtle fire spirit knew the mechanism of the final trial and felt immense worry for Ning Zhuo. If Ning Zhuo indeed took Yuan Dasheng in, the losses would be significant, and rescuing Yuan Dasheng would be an arduous task. On any regular day, the dragon turtle fire spirit would have hoped for Ning Zhuo to make such a mistake. The dragon turtle fire spirit longed to see Ning Zhuo take a fall for once. But now, if Ning Zhuo got into trouble, his strength diminished, who would it then find to deal with Ning Xiaohui? Ning Xiaohui, with her cultivation only in the qi refinement realm, would surely be eliminated by the golden-blooded war ape Dasheng. The dragon turtle fire spirit knew how capable the golden-blooded war ape Dasheng was, and thus didn't want to lose such a valuable weapon. At the same time, it was very concerned that Ning Zhuo might act irrationally. Once the golden-blooded war ape Dasheng was trapped in the final trial, Ning Zhuo might waste too much time and energy attempting to clear the final trial to rescue it. Young master. Seeing Ning Zhuo about to push the door open, the dragon turtle fire spirit, left with no choice, reached out again to stop him. Stop, please stop. Don't be in such a hurry to step through the door, the dragon turtle fire spirit advised. Then, in the next moment, a flaming whip materialized above its head. Snap. With a crisp sound, the whip lashed onto the dragon turtle fire spirit. The dragon turtle fire spirit, It never expected that there would be a day when it got punished for advising Ningzhuo. It never imagined it would be whipped for Ningzhuo's sake. Where was the justice in this? Dragon turtle fire spirit? Ningzhuo heard its voice through the life-hanging thread. Ningzhuo immediately stopped his actions, feeling a tinge of joy. Dragon turtle fire spirit. Little spirit has finally contacted the little master again. The dragon turtle fire spirit tried hard to show its weak and excited state. Whip. The fire whip cracked again, causing the dragon turtle fire spirit to grimace in pain. It gasped for breath and continued to persuade. Little master, please stop and listen to me. What I'm about to say is crucial. The old master set up 3 paths for assessment and training, each with a special purpose. The Buddhist path, which the little master has already passed, is deeply insightful. This path focuses on commanding other mechanical artifacts in combat and repair. Whip. The Tao path emphasizes the use of 5 elements magic. Therefore, any cultivator who passes this path has excellent spellcasting abilities. The 5 elements magic is quite balanced, with abilities in offense, defense, enemy control, and healing, among others. Whip. Lastly, the demon path specializes in cultivating assault capabilities. Much like powerful body cultivators on the battlefield, they often charge into enemy lines, slaying generals amidst thousands of troops. What I can tell you is limited to this. Little master, please be careful. Whip. The more the dragon turtle fire spirit spoke, the more violations it committed, leading to more frequent beatings. Ningzhuo heard the sound of the whip and couldn't help but curiously ask, "How strange, what is that sound?" Dragon turtle fire spirit. Woo. Ningzhuo felt something odd. Dragon turtle fire spirit, are you crying? The dragon turtle fire spirit stiffened its neck. Of course not, I'm being flogged. Ah. It finally couldn't bear it anymore and let out a painful cry. I am the palace spirit and should maintain absolute fairness. But what I just said was a key reminder to the little master, which goes against this principle. Therefore, I am receiving the palace's punishment. Ah. When the dragon turtle fire spirit said this, it couldn't help but let out another agonizing scream. Feeling quite embarrassed, it nevertheless risked everything to gain Ningzhuo's trust. Ningzhuo took a deep breath. Dragon turtle fire spirit, thank you for everything you've done for me. When I take over the Immortal Palace in the future, I will remember your kindness and employ you greatly. Dragon turtle fire spirit. Upon hearing Ningzhuo's consolation, it felt even more pained. Dragon turtle fire spirit, Ningzhuo called out. The dragon turtle fire spirit, in too much pain to speak, retracted its limbs and head into its turtle shell, silently enduring the flogging. Occasionally, as the pain became unbearable, it let out muffled groans. Whip. Ningzhuo clenched his fists tightly and sighed deeply. Dragon turtle fire spirit, hold on. Where in the Immortal Palace are you? Is there anything I can do to help you? Oh yes, the life-hanging thread. I can use the life-hanging thread to link with you, cast spells, and help you resist. The dragon turtle fire spirit couldn't help but poke its head out, glaring angrily with eyes piercing through the air as it stared at Ningzhuo. Does what you say even make sense? Whip. Its head took another lash. The dragon turtle fire spirit whimpered in pain, retreating back into its shell, muttering curses. Ningzhuo called out to the dragon turtle fire spirit, but hearing no response for a long time, he assumed it had become too weak from the beating, severing their connection. Thinking over the dragon turtle fire spirit's words, he pondered for a moment and understood its underlying meaning. If the demon path is meant to cultivate powerful assault roles, then relying on Yuan Dasheng to clear the path greatly violates the purpose set by the 3 ancestral masters. If I violate the purpose of the 3 ancestral masters, I will certainly face consequences. Just like earlier when I cast a spell that triggered the bloodline of the Kung Fu doll, adversely affecting the entire battle. The dragon turtle fire spirit endured severe punishment just to warn me. This suggests that if I continue to rely on Yuan Dasheng to help me clear the path, I will certainly suffer great losses. No, to be precise, it came to warn me just as I was about to open the door, suggesting that I can't bring Yuan Dasheng inside. For the final trial, it seems I must rely solely on myself. Seeing Ningzhuo arrange for Yuan Dasheng to stay at the second trial, intending to push the door and go alone, the dragon turtle fire spirit felt relieved and once again transmitted a message. Little master. Whip. Why are you so eager to clear the trials? Little Spirit thought Ning Xiaohui was your biggest threat. Ning Zhu replied, I want to clear the trials precisely to resolve the threat posed by Ning Xiaohui. Clearing the Buddhist path provides medals for roles like the Medical Pavilion. I suspect the role medal for the Historical Records Pavilion is a reward for the final trial in either the Demon Path or the Tao Path. As long as I obtain the corresponding role, I won't fear anyone taking up a position in the Historical Records Pavilion in the future. I can demote them all at a whim, achieving long-lasting peace. Whip. The dragon turtle fire spirit grimaced in pain. Oh dear, Little Spirit's worries were indeed correct. Little Master, the role medals of any of the paths do not include the role medal for the Historical Records Pavilion. Ningzhu was stunned. How can that be? The dragon turtle fire spirit revealed. The power of the Magma Fairy Palace is divided into 3 parts. One part is me, the palace spirit, in charge of the operations and functions of the Magma Fairy Palace. One part is the palace seal, in charge of 3 superior sect techniques inheritance. This is why you, Little Master, can influence the trial checkpoints through the Buddha Heart Demon Seal. The last part is the Palace Master. The Palace Master oversees personnel changes. Whip. Of course, these 3 powers are not entirely distinct. We also manage other areas concurrently. For example, I oversee the operation of the Magma Fairy Palace and can also slightly intervene in the inheritance of the 3 superior sect techniques and the performance evaluation of cultivators in various positions. The Palace Seal and Palace Master are the same way. After trial disciples pass the trials, the roles they choose are related to the inheritance. For example, the roles in the Medical Pavilion continue to train disciples in practical repair and healing skills. Whip. Similarly, the Command Platform role after the Demon Path trains disciples in command abilities during large battles. The role of the Historical Records Pavilion is not related to inheritance and falls under my jurisdiction as Palace Spirit. It is one of the functional buildings of the Magma Fairy Palace. To obtain a role in the Historical Records Pavilion, you need to accumulate contributions and merits. Of course, the position is highly significant, and only insiders can be promoted to this role. Outsiders cannot ascend to this position. Whip. Ningzhu suddenly realized. So that's how it is. But even so, I still need to attempt to clear the trials. The dragon turtle fire spirit became anxious and frustrated. Despite explaining so clearly, why did Ningzhu remain so stubborn? Ningzhu, I have another plan. The dragon turtle fire spirit wanted to inquire about the plan's details as it concerned its liberation. But Ningzhu remained silent and suddenly asked about the foundation establishment method. He voiced his assumptions, seeking confirmation from the dragon turtle fire spirit. The dragon turtle fire spirit paused for a moment before admitting the truth. Little Master, your assumption is correct. Whip. Passing one path grants a foundation establishment method for 1 elixir field. Combining 2 foundation establishment methods covers 2 elixir fields. The foundation establishment methods of all 3 paths combined is the true 3 elixir fields foundation establishment. Whip. However, Little Master, why hurry? Your current focus should be on. Ningzhu directly interrupted it and continued. To establish 3 elixir fields, what auxiliary methods should be adopted? The dragon turtle fire spirit paused again before deciding to answer. No auxiliary methods are necessary. Whip. People often use foundation establishment pills to increase the success rate of foundation establishment. Essentially, the foundation establishment pills provide a large amount of energy while coordinating the relationship between the 3 elixir fields. Whip. 3 superior sect techniques created by the old master trains the 3 treasures of essence, energy, and spirit, significantly enhancing them. Furthermore, from the 7th to the 9th layer of the advanced cultivation techniques, the 3 superior sect techniques emphasize the synchronization and connection of the 3 elixir fields. Therefore, as long as disciples train all 3 techniques to the peak of the 9th layer, they can naturally establish their foundations smoothly, without any obstacles. Whip. Ningzhu was overjoyed. This meant that as long as he obtained the complete foundation establishment method, he could accomplish foundation establishment. However, he quickly calmed down. Thinking of his current situation, even with the foundation establishment method, he would still face scrutiny from the Golden Core ancestors, and the floating cloud was no longer safe, making it challenging to find an opportunity for foundation establishment. The dragon turtle fire spirit eagerly asked, "Little master, what exactly is your plan?" "Whip," Ningzhu replied. "No rush, no rush. Let me ask you, what is the situation about the imperial exam? When will it be held so that I can compete for the position of the immortal palace master?" The dragon turtle fire spirit took a deep breath, suppressing its irritation, and had to answer. "The condition to commence the imperial exam is for a certain cultivator to meet the standards. That cultivator's cultivation level, mechanical techniques proficiency, and contributions must all reach a certain standard, triggering the imperial exam. The lower the cultivator's cultivation level, the more contributions are required." Whip. "When the imperial exam begins, it will qualify 32 cultivators below the key person, who then compete alongside the key person. The old master designed it this way to prevent anyone with ulterior motives from manipulating the system. It also provides the key person with an opportunity to demonstrate their strengths and subdue others." Whip. Ningzhuo asked again, "How do I meet the standards?" The dragon turtle fire spirit replied, "Your contributions need to reach the level of a first-rank position." Whip. Ningzhuo was taken aback, as he had recently been studying the tasks at the medical pavilion and knew the contributions required for each evaluation. Although he held a second-rank position, that didn't mean he had second-rank contributions. This goal was too high, because Ningzhuo's contributions were quite embarrassingly negative. One must know that Ningzhuo had blown up parts of the immortal palace before. Little master." The dragon turtle fire spirit could no longer endure. "I am about to disconnect from you again. What is your plan? Please tell little spirit quickly." Seeing this, Ningzhuo finally decided to reveal his plan. After hearing it, the dragon turtle fire spirit felt both delighted and terrified. This is too dangerous." The final trial on the demon sect path. What filled Ningzhuo's vision was a bright red color. In the final trial, the space was unexpectedly vast, like an expansive prairie. Obviously, some kind of spatial array had been laid down during the construction of this trial. Inside the trial, the blood mist was extremely thick, dispersing between heaven and earth, forming large patches of blood fog. The blood fog kept swirling, driven by a constant wind, making the fog sometimes dense and sometimes thin. As Ningzhuo explored the blood fog, he discovered a faint light after walking some distance. He walked towards the light and arrived at the center of the room. There, he saw a blood lake. The light emanated from the surface of the blood lake. As he stepped to the edge of the blood lake, the lake's surface light suddenly diminished. His reflection appeared on the water's surface. The lake water started to ripple rapidly, bubbling like boiling water. A large volume of essence blood surged upwards, bursting out of the lake and rushing toward Ningzhuo. He hurriedly dodged. The essence blood landed on a nearby rock, immediately wrapping around it. Soon, it formed large patches of blood veins on the rock's surface. The blood veins were extremely powerful, continuously molding the rock. A series of cracking sounds followed, transforming the rock into a puppet resembling Ningzhuo. Impressively, it looked quite alike. The stone puppet, wrapped and controlled by blood veins, silently charged towards wooden Ningzhuo. A fierce battle unfolded beside the blood lake. Ningzhuo soon fell into a disadvantage. It was because the stone puppet's material was much better than his wooden body, made from foundation-level materials. Furthermore, the stone puppet's martial arts were also superior to Ningzhuo's. He could only fight while retreating. As he probed his opponent's capabilities, the blood lake stirred again. The essence blood from the lake surged ashore, attaching itself to the soil and trees successively. After a moment of molding by the blood veins, they formed soil and tree puppets. In an instant, Ningzhuo faced the dilemma of fighting 3 opponents at once. After a round of exchanges, Ningzhuo realized that each puppet surpassed him significantly in martial arts. While this made him envious, he resolutely decided to fervently activate his own blood qi. His blood qi was exceedingly abundant, and the blood path diagram plate in his wooden body was a foundation version taken from Yuan Dasheng. Ningzhuo clapped his palms together, and blood qi poured out like a waterfall, directly submerging the 3 puppets. An hour later, the battlefield was covered with countless puppet remains, broken limbs, and severed heads. Ningzhuo could barely stand, utterly exhausted, but filled with relief and joy. "Finally, I have won?" After a full hour of battle, it was long and arduous. Each puppet opponent he faced was at the same peak level as him, the 9th tier. This time, my victory was unfair. Ningzhu knew that his victory was entirely due to the overwhelming outpour of blood qi, crushing his opponents without rationale. This was the best demonstration of brute force overcoming skill. He managed to do this thanks to Yuan Dasheng. Yuan Dasheng had created a foundation-level blood path diagram plate, which had a far greater scale of blood qi outburst than a qi refining level plate. In the penultimate trial, the blood path diagram plate absorbed a substantial amount of blood qi. In the final trial, Ningzhu lavishly spent the blood qi, unreservedly. When blood qi ran low, mid, and late stage, he drained the blood path diagram plate and used it to fervently absorb his opponent's blood qi, fighting to sustain himself. In this way, Ningzhu essentially had endless blood qi. He used no technique, just overwhelmed his opponents with more than 10-fold blood qi. As each puppet fell, more puppets would rise from the blood lake. The puppets kept coming, pushing Ningzhu into a prolonged struggle. But in the end, I am still the victor. When I have time to refine my martial arts in the future, I will attempt this trial again. Ningzhu opened the last gate of the demon sect path and entered the final reward room. As soon as he stepped in, he received the foundation establishment method of the demon sect path. Corresponding with the Buddhist sect, the foundation establishment method here focused primarily on the essence C of the lower elixir field, with the other 2 elixir fields as supplementary. Ningzhu didn't delve into this foundation establishment method, instead immediately looking at the various job plaques hanging on the wall. After careful consideration and browsing multiple times, he chose the command platform chief. Next, it's the Tao sect path. With his substantial soul power, after passing the final trial of the demon sect, Ningzhu still had reserve force. He used the Buddha Heart Devil Seal to exit the trial and return to the 3rd transfer hall. Then, he opened the 3rd Tao sect door and ventured forth with all his might. Magma Fairy Palace, Main Hall. The dragon turtle fire spirit's gaze pierced through the void, with a complicated expression, watching Ningzhu's every move. Previously considering deception and delay, it ultimately found that it couldn't stop Ningzhu from obtaining the 3 different foundation establishment methods. So it preemptively revealed the secrets of the foundation methods, seeking Ningzhu's trust. The previous interactions, I think I did well, especially the last time. Although the whip hurt, it earned Ningzhu's trust and gratitude. Heh, everything will be all right. I will surely gain freedom. While the dragon turtle fire spirit boosted its morale, Ningzhu started a new trial. As the dragon turtle fire spirit had introduced, the purpose of the Tao sect path was to cultivate the spell-casting abilities of trial disciples. In the previous reward room, Ningzhu had acquired the 5-element spiritual conversion disc. At this moment, it became his primary weapon. Wielding the 5-element spiritual conversion disc, he continuously cast 5-element spells, sometimes attacking, sometimes defending. Every so often in this trial, a 5-element spell would come at him. Sometimes it was a metallic blade, sometimes a water wave, and sometimes a fiery blaze. Ningzhu had to use spells to counter spells. To save more spiritual energy, he followed the rule of opposition. He used water spells to counter fire, and wood spells to counter earth's flying sands. This approach was undoubtedly the most energy and spirit conserving. The 5-element spiritual conversion disc enabled him to transform the spiritual energy in his body into the 5 elements magic. Using this magic to perform 5-element spells was undoubtedly more efficient. This wasn't the extent of its capabilities, as the 5-element spiritual conversion disc also had other uses. Essentially, it was an array plate, and once used, it extended an invisible array. Within the array's coverage, the spiritual energy in the air altered under its influence, and Ningzhu could change the spiritual energy's nature within the array with a single thought. In other words, the 5-element spiritual conversion disc was a combat tool capable of altering or setting up the battleground. As my mastery of 5 elements mutual generation and restraint improves, the quality of 5-element spiritual conversion discs I can obtain will also be higher. The way to obtain the 5-element spiritual conversion disc was much like the blood path diagram plate, mainly referencing a certain spell or cultivation technique. The second Tao sect reward trial was the 5-element spiritual conversion disc. The third demon sect reward trial was the blood path diagram plate. These reward items could be obtained repeatedly. In fact, the first Buddhist sect reward trial was the same. However, Ningzhu harnessed Yuan Dasheng's corpse to refine the golden-blooded war ape Dasheng, which possessed immortal aptitude. The reward of the first Buddhist sect was meant to be a spiritual mechanism, far from possessing complete spiritual nature, and destined to exhaust it eventually. Yet, Ningzhu had utilized golden-blooded war ape Dasheng all along. Under normal circumstances, trial disciples' spiritual mechanisms would get consumed after a period. They would then challenge the Buddhist sect path anew to receive another mechanism. After arduously passing the penultimate trial of the Tao sect path, Ningzhu found it difficult to continue. His spiritual energy was less than 30%. The penultimate trial's difficulty is still too significant for me. I spent too much time, spirit and spiritual energy here. Ningzhu wasn't confident enough for the final trial of the Tao sect path. After all, he had just passed the final trial of the demon sect, and his state wasn't at its best. But still curious, he opted to open the final gate. As expected, he failed. Returning to his body, Ningzhu re-entered reality. Floating amidst the clouds, his eyes remained tightly shut for a long while. He recollected his conversation with the dragon turtle fire spirit and thoroughly pondered his current situation. The exchange with the dragon turtle fire spirit had greatly benefited him. He verified the Foundation establishment method and deepened his collaboration with the dragon turtle fire spirit. Most crucially, he understood the main mechanisms of the Imperial Court examination. To participate in the Imperial Court examination quickly, I don't need to accumulate enough merits for the highest rank position. After all, my merits are in the negative, and accumulating enough for the highest rank is way too lengthy. His prior destruction of the Immortal Palace had caused his merits to go deep into the negative, creating a sizable pit that was hard to fill. Ningzhu calculated internally. Actually, he only needed the qualification to participate in the Imperial Court examination. This meant he didn't need to secure first place in merits. Being in the top 32 would suffice. Magma Fairy Palace, Infirmary. Ningzhu heart skipped a beat as she discovered a new repair task. It's that mechanical monkey. Ningzhu's eyes immediately lit up. Having continuously challenged the demon sect path and nearly reached the final door of the Tao sect path, Yuan Dasheng had gotten injured. Without hesitation, Ningzhu handed the task of repairing the golden-blooded war ape to Ningzhu. Ningzhu accepted the repair task right away. The teleportation circle transmitted the golden-blooded war ape onto her workbench. Upon inspection, Ningzhu joyfully discovered that this time, the golden-blooded war ape's injuries were much lighter than before. After all, its previous injuries were accumulated over a long time by Ningzhu. While using the golden-blooded war ape, Ningzhu had merely patched it up without fully understanding its mechanical structure, only managing provisional fixes. Observing the golden-blooded war ape's injuries, Ningzhu couldn't help but curl her lips into a smile. For her, the lighter injuries indicated that it had an upper hand in battle, inflicting far more severe hurts on its opponents than it received. You should unleash your full power more often. Increasingly fond of the golden-blooded war ape, Ningzhu eyed it with admiration, finding it exuding an aura of dominance. Previously, the ape had given her countless nightmares and embarrassing moments, but now she had come to terms with it, and her feelings had entirely changed. Once I fix you up, I'll find out who's suffering out there. I'll make these trial disciples endure some hardships, for it's good for their growth. At this thought, Ningzhu couldn't help but chuckle to herself. You all spoke of Soul entering Immortal Palace day in and day out, ostracizing me, forcing me to take the physical entry route. But then again, thanks to all of you, especially Ningzhu, haha, you opened up a whole new world for me. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river, never underestimate a maiden's potential. When I achieve success someday, standing before you, looking down upon you, I eagerly anticipate the shock on your faces. Ningzhu grew more excited as she thought about it, feeling that her future days were beautiful and full of hope. Especially since not long ago, she had received a direct order from Zhuge Xuanji telling her to spare no effort in securing a position related to the Historical Records Pavilion. Ning Xiaohui gladly accepted the order. As long as I complete this task well, I will gain the favor of the Golden Pill Ancestor and catch the eyes of the Golden Pill Ancestors. However, at that moment, including Zhu Xuanji, the eyes of the Golden Pill Ancestors were all focused on Ning Zhuo. Ning Zhuo's earlier suspicions proved correct. Before Zhu Xuanji left, he had secretly arranged methods to monitor Ning Zhuo's body and residence. After Zhu Xuanji discussed it with the three families' Golden Pill Ancestors, the Golden Core cultivators of the three families also secretly moved, gradually concealing themselves around Ning Zhuo. One by one, they implemented methods to observe Ning Zhuo himself and his surroundings closely. They were hunters, lying in wait, concealing themselves around Ning Zhuo, patiently waiting for the city lord's mansion to make a mistake. Ning Zhuo's residence. Under the silent gaze of the 6 Golden Pill Ancestors, Ning Zhuo took out elixir pills and swallowed them, healing his injuries. After finishing his treatment, he looked around. In front of the Golden Pill Ancestors, he performed various detection spells, used magic artifacts for detection, and manipulated arrays for inspection. As a result, he found nothing suspicious. Ning Zhuo was only in the Qi refinement realm, and although the magic artifacts he used were of high quality and the arrays were at the foundation establishment stage, he could not detect any trace of the Golden Pill Ancestors. This behavior of Ning Zhuo, in the eyes of the Golden Pill Ancestors, was somewhat amusing and made them chuckle. Ning Zhuo then summoned the guards outside the house. These men were former stewards of the Ning family, possessing foundation establishment-level cultivation. Ning Zhuo instructed them to guard the surroundings strictly and asked if there were any suspicious individuals around. The guards all replied. There was nothing suspicious, no suspicious individuals. Ning Zhuo was alone in the underground cultivation room. He sighed, taking out the literary classics about mechanical techniques for a closer look, frowning as he read. After reading for just a short while, he could no longer continue. He placed the classics aside and moved to the workbench, starting to tinker with various mechanical parts. After fiddling for a while, Ning Zhuo sighed deeply again, pushing all the mechanical parts on the table aside. Many parts fell to the ground. Ning Zhuo reached up, grabbing his hair, and repeatedly banged his forehead on the table, letting out painful cries of "ah." The little guy's heart is in chaos. Watching this scene, the 6 Golden Pill Ancestors all felt that Ning Zhuo was restless and impatient. He couldn't focus on reading or studying mechanical techniques. The pressure on him was enormous. Ning Zhuo's broad forehead turned bright red from the banging. Then he released his fingers and collapsed weakly on the table, eyes closed like he was dead. He maintained this position for a long time, then suddenly, he opened his eyes and sat up abruptly. He grabbed his hair again and let out another anguished scream. This time, however, he didn't scream for long before he stood up, pacing back and forth in the underground chamber with his hands behind his back. His brow furrowed, his face serious. He walked back and forth, occasionally stopping to sigh to the heavens, sometimes screaming in pain as if venting. At times, his eyes turned red as he walked to a corner, pressed his head against the wall, and forcefully pushed against it without using any mana. The Golden Pill Ancestors watched in silence, some also frowning slightly. Zhu Xuanji's eyes flickered slightly, his face solemn, but he felt a significant amount of empathy. The pressure on Ning Zhuo was far greater than it seemed on the surface. His various detection spells hadn't yielded any results, but his wisdom had already told him that he must be under heavy surveillance at the moment. Especially among them, there was a renowned divine hunter. Every move he made, every word he uttered had to be perfect, without a single flaw. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. It was in the evening when Fei Ci's letter was delivered to him. Ning Zhuo looked at the jade slip letter, hesitating for a long time, his expression constantly changing. There was solemnity, fear, and a hint of resentment. It seemed as if he was blaming Fei Ci, thinking he wouldn't be in his current predicament if it wasn't for him. Eventually, Ning Zhuo sighed, gritted his teeth, and suddenly reached out to pick up the jade slip letter. He pressed the jade slip tightly to his forehead, continuously infusing it with divine sense. After reading the letter's contents, he sighed deeply again, his face full of worry, and placed the jade slip on the table. He then began pacing back and forth in front of the table with his hands behind his back. After some time, Ningzhuo took out a blank jade slip, using mana to write a letter. He wrote another letter to Ning Jiyufan, informing him about the letter he received from Fei Si asking for details about what happened during the day. Ningzhuo didn't know what to do, so he wrote a letter specifically seeking advice. Ning Jiyufan soon received the letter. To be precise, he had already seen Ningzhuo writing the letter and had guessed its contents. After receiving the letter, he infused it with divine sense, and a single glance confirmed his guess was entirely correct. Not daring to make decisions on his own, Ning Jiyufan passed the letter to Zhuge Xuanji and the other Golden Pill ancestors. Though Ning Zhu was merely a junior at the Qi refinement stage, his letter was successively read by 6 Golden Core cultivators, underscoring its importance. After finishing the letter, everyone turned their gaze to Zhuge Xuanji. Zhuge Xuanji smiled faintly. Ning Zhu, this poor little fellow, is completely lost. Let him reply, just as he normally would. Since Fei Si is suspicious and wants to delve into my purpose in visiting Ningzhu today, let Ningzhu speak the truth. It will continue to alarm the enemy. Zhuge Xuanji needed the city lord's mansion to make a mistake, preferably sending assassins to kill Ningzhu, so Zhuge Xuanji could seize the evidence. Fei Si's initiative to inquire actually worried Zhuge Xuanji. He feared that Ningzhu might expose a flaw when faced with an old fox like Fei Si, making it easily recognizable. So he decided to let Ningzhu tell the truth. After all, his previous conversation with Ningzhu was meticulously designed. At that moment, on his way to Ningzhu, Zhuge Xuanji had already set his target, intending to exert pressure to make the city lord's mansion feel the tension from him. In his bedroom, Ningzhu had already lain down. He tossed and turned on his bed, unable to sleep. Suddenly, he received a secret communication from Ning Jiyufan. Ningzhu's eyes shot open, barely concealing his excitement, but he was immediately warned by Ning Jiyufan to behave as usual. Ningzhu went to the study, sat at the desk, and began writing the letter, holding the jade slip tightly. Following Ning Jiufan's instructions, he truthfully recounted his detailed conversation with Zhuge Xuanji. The letter mainly focused on 2 key points, Yuan Dasheng and the Demon Dao True Scripture. At the end of the letter, Ningzhu deliberately asked Fei Si, what did he know about the Demon Dao True Scripture? Early in the morning, Fei Si had been at his desk, handling various affairs of the Immortal City. He barely left his seat throughout the day. It wasn't until the crescent moon rose high that he finally managed to wrap up most of the day's tasks. Of course, by tomorrow or even tonight, new affairs would inevitably arise. The recruitment decree had brought too many outsiders into Fire Persimmon Immortal City. This created tremendous pressure on the city lord's mansion to manage the Immortal City. If it weren't for Fei Si and Kai Dun working tirelessly, the city would have descended into chaos long ago. Fei Si was particularly focused on Zhuge Xuanji's movements. On one hand, Zhuge Xuanji was from the royal family, and it was now certain he was the primary competitor for the city lord's mansion in the race for the Magma Fairy Palace. On the other hand, Zhuge Xuanji's aggressive visit to Ningzhu clearly indicated something significant had occurred. People in Fire Persimmon Immortal City were almost all talking about it. As the acting city lord, Fei Si naturally wanted to know the real details more than anyone. Given his close, private relationship with Ningzhu, Fei Si had straightforwardly written a jade slip letter to inquire. At last, a reply, Fei Si said, infusing his divine sense into the jade slip Ningzhu had written. After reading it, Fei Si's expression shifted slightly. Demon Dao True Scripture. What kind of topic? I have no knowledge of any true scripture, and you ask me. Fei Si set down the jade slip, his brow furrowed, his mind racing. Is the Demon Dao True Scripture one of the 3 superior sect techniques? Fei Si thought about the 3 superior sect techniques, recalling his past conversation with Meng Qi, and speculated about the city lord's mansion's cultivation technique regarding the 3 elixir fields foundation establishment. If the Demon Dao True Scripture is indeed one of the techniques concerning the 3 elixir fields foundation establishment, paired with the 5 elements Qi regulation art, then obtaining this true scripture would indeed greatly aid in exploring the Immortal Palace and vying for its master. No wonder Zhuge Xuanji rushed over so urgently. His presence clearly intended to pressure Ningzhu into handing over the Demon Dao True Scripture. But how did Zhuge Xuanji know? Where did he get the clues about the demon Dao true scripture? Since Zhu Xuanji's arrival in Fire Persimmon Immortal City, Fei Si had kept a close watch on his every move. As the strategist for the city lord's mansion, keeping tabs on Zhu Xuanji, the royal family's envoy from the southern Bean royal family, was imperative. Precisely because Fei Si kept a close watch, he was curious about where Zhu Xuanji had obtained his clues. Recently, Zhu Xuanji has been leading the three families' golden core cultivators in openly exploring the bottom of the volcano. Could it be they found clues to the true scripture at the bottom of Huoshi Mountain? With this question in mind, Fei Si headed to the volcano's summit to seek out Meng Kui. He inquired with Meng Kui, knowing Meng Kui had been stationed at the summit and should be fairly well informed about Zhu Xuanji and his group's activities. Meng Kui knew a little, immediately sharing information about the mechanical demon general with Fei Si. Fei Si was astonished, thinking, this time, the Ning family ancestor made a great sacrifice. Fei Si suddenly realized, then everything aligns perfectly. He then gave a detailed report to Meng Kui. Meng Kui pondered, the foundation establishment method of the three elixir fields would greatly benefit my grandson's son Mengchang. This demon Dao true scripture should be closely guarded by the city lord's mansion. If it falls into the hands of demon path thieves, countless lives would suffer. Fei Si, go all out and find this true scripture. Meng Kui issued the command directly. Fei Si, carrying the new orders, returned to the city lord's mansion. He sat at his desk, deep in thought. Where could the demon Dao true scripture be? The first person he suspected was Ning Zhuo. This little fellow Ning Zhuo is ambitious. It was him who led the efforts to eliminate Yuan Dasheng back then. At that time, was he so active in dealing with Yuan Dasheng and the Monkey Head Gang just because of the explosive flame monkey business? Or could he have accidentally learned through some channel that Yuan Dasheng possessed the true scripture? During the Fire Persimmon Festival, he actively sought my identity badge. Could he be using me? However, if Yuan Dasheng had the true scripture, it should have leaked out and transferred to a nearby suitable vessel after his death. At Yuan Dasheng's death, both Ning Zhuo and Yuan were present. If the true scripture leaked, these two would surely know and benefit from it. They might have reached some kind of agreement in private. Wait a moment. A slight change in Fei Si's expression indicated his realization. He remembered that Yuan was assassinated soon after, and the foundation his father built painstakingly, the Monkey Head Gang, had also been taken over by Ning Zhu a while ago. Could this be because of a disagreement over the spoils between Ning Zhu and Yuan leading to the former killing the latter? Ning Zhu is indeed suspicious, but also not very suspicious. Fei Si thought deeply. He reasoned Zhu Xuanji has a very strong ability to detect lies. Ning Zhu is only at the Qi refinement 3rd layer. He couldn't fool Zhu Xuanji. Oh, he's now obtained the 5 elements Qi regulation art from the 4th to 6th layers, possibly reaching the Qi refinement 4th layer. But that makes little difference, it's still the Qi refinement realm. Unless he has some rare treasure that could resist Zhu Xuanji's scrutiny. Fei Si shook his head slightly at this thought. Such a possibility was too small. Given Ning Zhu's ambitious nature, if he had some rare treasure, he would have already shown off eagerly. He wouldn't have remained obscure for over a decade and only started to emerge this year at 16 due to the Magma Fairy Palace. He and I are of the same kind, with similar dispositions. Haha. He couldn't have endured for so many years. Fei Si thought back and forth but found no clues. Unable to figure things out, Fei Si ordered the city lord's mansion to investigate the matter thoroughly. One thing puzzled Fei Si. That was Zhu Xuanji giving Ning Zhu 3 days to explain himself before leaving. Explain what? Why not explain it on the spot? Or did Zhu Xuanji consider other influences? After all, Ning Zhu is now a famous genius cultivator of the Ning family. You must show respect to the owner when beating a dog. Ning Jiufan contributed significantly on the expedition to Huoshi Mountain Bottom and is the greatest hero of Zhu Xuanji's journey. Wait, did Ning Zhu achieve remarkable results in the exploration of the Immortal Palace because of this demon skill? Based on this, he might have already mastered profound essence C cultivation. Fei Si allowed his thoughts to wander. He was no divine hunter, so he speculated freely without the burden of needing evidence. Whatever the case, an enhanced investigation is necessary. Fei Si realized that he lacked key clues. His intelligence was too incomplete to make a correct judgment. Soon, Fei Si utilized the city lord's mansion's resources. He sent staff from the city lord's mansion around to gather information, while also deploying spies to probe Ningzhu's true situation. One night passed. The Golden Core ancestors were exchanging information. This little guy Ningzhu has many spies around him. Given how little time he's had to rise, it's normal for other factions to have spies among his ranks. Some don't even count as spies, just selling information outside. The subordinates gathered around Ningzhu had limited loyalty to him, especially those former stewards who were openly dismissed by the main family because they were corrupt and greedy. The external factions, large and small, were curious about what had transpired between Ningzhu and Zhu Xuanji and sent out to investigate. Many former stewards used the opportunity to trade information. Regardless of whether they sold information for profit, were spies sent by Ning family's clan leader and others, or had other motives, they all operated actively in secret. They had no idea that 6 Golden Core cultivators were closely watching Ningzhu. All their actions were observed thoroughly by the 6 Golden Core cultivators. At most, they had Foundation establishment cultivation levels and couldn't detect the means of Golden Core ancestors. That Ning Xianxia is the most problematic one, Zhu Xuanji said during discussions with the 3 families of Golden Core cultivators. Ning Xianxia was a spy from the city lord's mansion. He had been personally turned by Fei Si years ago and was one of Fei Si's best informants in probing the Ning family's information. When Ningzhu launched an attack on Ningxioran at that time, he had actively sought Fei Si's help. Fei Si had then secretly ordered Ning Xianxia to participate in the action and seized the opportunity to infiltrate Ningzhu's side. During the downfall of the young clan leader of the Ning family, Ning Xianxia indeed played a significant role. After Ningzhu established the black market, Ning Xianxia took on an important role, performing his duties excellently. However, his identity had long been discovered by Ningzhu. Ningzhu's divine power life thread could, to some extent, measure the loyalty of his subordinates to him. Ningzhu chose not to act, but gave Ning Xianxia heavier tasks to fully utilize his talents. This arrangement by Ningzhu unexpectedly proved to be quite clever now. Zhu Xuanji and the others misunderstood. Did the city lord's mansion send Ning Xianxia to gather intelligence to prepare for an assassination? The 3 families of Golden Core ancestors could not help but speculate like this upon learning about Ning Xianxu's involvement. Ning Xianxu's espionage made the 6 Golden Core cultivators more vigilant. They remained highly alert throughout, and by the afternoon, there was still no sign of assassination, and everything was calm and peaceful. Not only did the Golden Core ancestors not find any assassination, but they also received a rumor. This rumor spread through the city at an incredible speed. The rumor was simple. Ningzhu, the genius cultivator of the Ning family, had secretly obtained a demon skill true scripture. This demon skill true scripture had a significant origin, coming from the Magma Fairy Palace and created personally by the 3 ancestral masters. Using this demon skill, Ningzhu had repeatedly achieved remarkable results in exploring the Magma Fairy Palace. It was said that Lord Zhu Xuanji had discovered this lead and thus sought out Ningzhu publicly yesterday to question the whereabouts of the true scripture. How did such a rumor surface? Who spread it? To spread so quickly citywide, the person behind it is extraordinary. The Golden Core ancestors sensed something amiss and smelled a hint of conspiracy. None of them suspected Ningzhu. Since yesterday, Ningzhu had been under their scrutiny for all his activities. The only outgoing communication had been a letter to Fei Si. Moreover, the content of the rumor was clearly detrimental to Ningzhu, likely stirring others' greed towards him. As a victim of the rumor, how could he spread it himself? The rumor reached other ears. Ningzhu has the Demon Dao true scripture. Ning Xiaohui's eyes widened with joy and anticipation upon hearing the rumor. If it's true, that's great. A righteous cultivator in the Ning family secretly practicing demon skills. Meng Chang found the rumor intriguing. The 5 elements qi regulation art feels unrestrained, unsuitable for me. Demon skills are more fitting, enhancing the body and charging at the forefront. It's so thrilling. Zhou Zeshan and Zhou Zhu discussed it, and both believed parts of the rumor to be obviously false. However, some parts seemed to reveal genuine information. This left them conflicted, unsure what to believe. Many believed Ningzhu truly possessed a Demon Dao true scripture. Some even fabricated evidence to substantiate Ning Zhu's connection to it convincingly. Yang Chanyu stood somewhere, overlooking the roofs before her. Sun Lingtong hid in her shadow. Yang Chanyu slowly opened her eyes. She had been using a spell to eavesdrop on the surroundings. Our rumor has been successfully spread, but I'm a little curious. What did that young genius from the Ning family, Ning Zhu, do to provoke you that you would frame him like this? Sun Lingtong had long been prepared, and he chuckled. I've been watching this Ning Zhu for a long time. He'll be a very useful pawn. To Yang Chanyu, Sun Lingtong chose not to reveal his true relationship with Ning Zhu. After all, inviting Yang Chanyu to help required strength he didn't have to constrain her. Even though they were betrothed, the marriage only bound the two of them and would not aid Ning Zhu much. If Yang Chanyu discovered Sun Lingtong's actions were solely for Ning Zhu, she would recognize it as his greatest weakness immediately. Even if she didn't exploit it now, she would hold dark thoughts for the future. Sun Lingtong diverted the topic. This level of rumor isn't enough. Next, we can propagate the second layer of the rumor. The second wave of rumors arrived. It perfectly connected with the previous wave of rumors, causing a commotion. The second wave of rumors revealed many new details. How Zhu Xuanji, the divine hunter, obtained clues about the demon Tao True scripture. The rumor mentioned that Zhu Xuanji acquired the mechanical demon general. This mechanism possessed the combat power of the golden core level, a precious automaton lost from the magma fairy palace. The original demon Tao True scripture was stored inside the mechanical demon general. However, when Zhu Xuanji obtained the mechanical demon general, he found no trace of the true scripture. With his strong investigative abilities, he found clues from the mechanical demon general, tracing them all the way to Yuan Dasheng of the Monkey Head Gang. He suspected that Yuan Dasheng had come into contact with the mechanical demon general in his early years, thereby stealing the demon Tao True scripture. However, Yuan Dasheng had long been dead, and his corpse had been obtained by Ning Zhu. This meant that the demon Tao True scripture on Yuan Dasheng had fallen into Ning Zhu's hands. The power of the second wave of rumors was much greater than the previous one. On one hand, it involved Zhu Xuanji. Zhu Xuanji, honored as a golden core cultivator, was also a member of the royal family and a divine hunter of the Divine Hunter Office, holding high status and great prestige. Having such a significant figure involved naturally fueled people's enthusiasm for speculation. On the other hand, the rumor was very realistic, with many detailed and convincing aspects. As soon as the rumor spread, some cultivators wanted to visit Zhu Xuanji to confirm the truth of the rumor. Zhu Xuanji neither clarified nor denied anything. This subtle attitude caused many people to ponder deeply, gaining insight. Zhu Xuanji secretly communicated with the golden core cultivators of the three families. They were also speculating and discussing who might have spread the rumor. Ning Jiufan clenched his fists angrily. Who else could it be? If it's not one of us, it must be the city lord's mansion. We took back the mechanical demon general from the demon ape king court, and we informed Meng Kui about this action at the time. Meng Kui, being at the nascent soul level, likely knew everything that happened in the king court. Zheng Xuangu wondered, I don't quite understand. Why announce matters related to the demon Tao True scripture this way? If I were the city lord's mansion, I would secretly gather intelligence, and after confirming it, send a proficient assassin to eliminate Ning Zhu. What is the point of announcing these things? Zhou Nanjiang smiled faintly. Obviously, they are trying to clear themselves of suspicion. Because once Ning Zhu is assassinated, it will likely be interpreted that someone from the demon path was influenced by the rumors and took a desperate risk to obtain the demon Tao True scripture from Ning Zhu. The city lord's mansion stirred the waters first, then took the opportunity to secretly send a strong assassin to take Ning Zhu's life. Even if the assassin is caught and points to the city lord's mansion in the future, the city lord's mansion can deny involvement, claiming it was the assassin's personal act, deliberately framing them after capture. This is actually an old trick used by many major forces, Zhou Nanjiang added at last. The Golden Core ancestors fell into silence. They all felt an invisible pressure. It must be Fei Si, someone sighed, voicing everyone's thoughts. In their view, Fei Si obviously realized that there might be a trap on Ning Zhu's side. So what did he do about it? No matter whether there was a trap or not, he played this move first. By controlling public opinion, He hadn't even started to assassinate Ning Zhuo, and he had already begun clearing the city lord's mansion of suspicion. Tricky. Vexing. This was the biggest impression Zhu Xuanji received from the second wave of rumors and from Fei Si. Apart from clearing suspicion, he has another intention. Zhu Xuanji's eyes deepened. He discreetly observed the other Golden Core ancestors. He carefully watched their expressions. Clearly, out of all the Golden Core cultivators, Ning Jiufan's face looked the worst. He bore considerable psychological pressure. Zhu Xuanji understood well what Ning Jiufan was worried about. If there was an insider among us, Ning Jiufan would be the least likely. Not only because he had weaknesses that threatened his own reputation, but also because Ning Zhu was originally the genius cultivator of the Ning family. Zhu Xuanji was preoccupied with whether the rumor originated from the city lord's mansion. The other Golden Core cultivators seemed to accept this, but Zhu Xuanji, being a divine hunter, never made conclusions on matters without evidence. If the rumor didn't come from the city lord's mansion, then who could it be? Who knew that I acquired the mechanical demon general? In Zhu Xuanji's view, there were only two groups of people. One was the city lord's mansion, and the other was his and the alliance of three families. After some thought, Zhu Xuanji said to the others, "Two waves of rumors in quick succession clearly indicate a behind-the-scenes manipulator. The current situation has undoubtedly become very severe. We must increase our protection of Ning Zhu." After all, Ning Zhu is the genius cultivator of the Ning family. As I told Taoist Ning Jiufan before, I will do everything in my power to ensure his safety. So, from now on, we will pair up in groups to watch over Ning Zhu in shifts. I will personally arrange all the shifts. Zhu Xuanji's words made some Golden Core cultivators thoughtful. Even though Zhu Xuanji and the three families' Golden Core cultivators had signed a contract, this binding was not perfect. Just like locks and lockpicking methods, the two always alternated in growth. The same was true for contracts and oath-breaking methods. Zhu Xuanji didn't directly mention concerns about an insider. He divided the 6 Golden Core cultivators, including himself, into 3 teams. Each team had 2 members. He avoided putting the 2 Golden Core cultivars from the Zhou family and Zheng family in the same team. This was to guard against the risk of an insider. Ning Zhu's residence. What? There are actually such rumors. Ning Zhu shouted and immediately stood up. His face was pale. He tried to remain calm, but it was hard to hide his panic. The 2 Ning Family Foundation establishment cultivators who reported to him exchanged a glance, feeling that based on Ning Zhu's reaction, the rumor was likely true. Ning Zhu's eyes flickered, holding onto his desk for support. After a while, he came to his senses and waved the 2 Ning Family Foundation establishment cultivators away. "Keep a close eye on the rumors, and report to me immediately if there are any changes." The 2 Ning Family Foundation establishment cultivators excused themselves, and Ning Zhu couldn't help but wipe his forehead. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. He swallowed, still feeling parched, then picked up the teapot on the desk and took a big gulp of cold tea. He sat back down, opened a drawer and took out a jade slip, writing with his divine sense. This was a letter asking for help, addressed to Ning Jiufan. After finishing, Ning Zhu thought for a bit and took out another jade slip. It was another plea for help, this time addressed to Zhu Xuanji. The 2 pleas for help were quickly delivered to Ning Jiufan and Zhu Xuanji. The content of the letters was roughly the same, all lamenting Ning Zhu's innocence, grievances, fear, and unease. The gist was as follows. I honestly didn't obtain any demon Dao true scripture. I am being wronged, I am innocent. I am really unlucky to have gotten caught up in this. Surely someone will come to harm me, coveting the demon Dao true scripture. They will be disappointed. Even if they kill me, they won't get the true scripture. But I don't want to die. I am still young. I am only 16 years old. So, Lord Ning Jiufan, Lord Zhu Xuanji, I beseech you to save my life. Just by stepping forward to clarify, you can resolve my peril. After reading the letter, Zhu Xuanji emotionlessly put the jade slip away. Ning Jiufan, however, couldn't remain indifferent. He secretly approached Zhu Xuanji. After some small talk, he got to the point. Lord Zhu, how much do you think Meng Qi knows about our actions in the Demon Ape King Court? Zhu Xuanji replied. Meng Qi is at the nascent soul level. His cultivation level and combat power far exceed ours. For the action, I specifically informed him to ensure he could be our backup. With his abilities, he definitely was aware of our actions in the Fire Persimmon Mountain. However, to what extent he was aware, I do not know. Zhu Xuanji spoke a lot of nonsense. He was also in a difficult position. He couldn't directly tell Ning Jiufan that Meng Qi knew everything that happened to him. That would only increase Ning Jiufan's psychological burden. Ning Jiufan sighed heavily and left. Zhu Xuanji couldn't help but show a pensive expression. Confrontations on the righteous path were naturally different from those on the demon path, possessing their unique style. In dealing with the rumors, I have already had a round of confrontation with the city lord's mansion. Fei Si is indeed formidable. 2 rumors are enough to unsettle our side. At this moment, a cultivator walked straight towards the gate of Ningzhu's courtyard. His movements immediately attracted attention. Halt. Who goes there? The Ning Family Foundation establishment guards immediately intercepted him halfway. Zhu Xuanji and Ning Jiufan also secretly focused on this person. The visitor cupped his hands, showing respect. I am Sumo, my apologies to the 2 Foundation establishment seniors. I am merely a bottom-level Qi refinement realm cultivator, making a living by crafting talismans. I recently arrived in Fire Persimmon Immortal City, and heard that the Ning family is renowned for talisman crafting. Young Master Ning Zhu is the leading figure in talisman crafting within the Qi refinement realm. Therefore, I have come to visit and seek to compete with Ning Zhu in talisman crafting techniques. The Foundation establishment guards exchanged a look, their faces full of disdain. HMPH, you choose neither an earlier nor a later time, but come now. You are truly meticulous. Can't you speak the truth? You're here because of the rumors about the Demon Tao True Scripture, aren't you? Sumo smiled slightly. Seniors, it is indeed now late at night, meaning I came late. I am unaware of any rumors. I only know that I am here to challenge Ning Zhu. If Ning Zhu doesn't accept, it would tarnish the reputation of the prestigious Ning family in talisman crafting. The 2 Foundation establishment guards grew increasingly irritated. But the matter couldn't be dismissed easily and needed proper handling. All right, wait here and allow me to report.